I think just me, like, since I've always was involved, I just like helping people. But also as a mom, I see them as my kids. So I just love getting to know them, and I like to, whenever you have children, you kind of like to know what they're passionate for and kind of
Mm-hmm.
merge them so they can be successful. And that's how I see the students as well. I see what they're passionate for, and I see what like drives them, and so that's what I try to like get to know them. And when I see a little like spark, I'm like, you know what, we can grow this, so let's continue. And that's what the passion it comes in.
Hi, Zayra. Welcome to Tech Talk with
Hi.
WSU Tech. So glad to have you here today. Can you, for our audience, introduce yourself, tell us what your role is, and how long you've been at the college?
Yeah, so my name's Zayra Camacho. I've been here, it'll be 4 years in August, and my title is Program Coordinator for Student Engagement.
Tell us about your journey. Tell us about your background, your career path, and what brought you to WSU Tech.
So I was born in Mexico, and I came to United States right to Wichita when I was 5. And then, I like Mandy, I went to South High, and I was always involved. I love to be, part of the leadership and everything with South High. And then from there, I went to community college, and I was also involved. I was in SGA, and, I was in a couple student organizations, and I just love being involved. From there, I did drop out. I had my daughter, and then I went to work for Sedgwick County, and I was in human resources, FMLA assistant, and I didn't have a degree, so I was like, what am I gonna do? And so then I couldn't move up because they were offering they wanted a degree, and so then I just started looking at my options, and then that's when I saw there was a position for TRIO support, administrative support. And so whenever I applied for the TRIO position, I got the job, and once I started, I thought it was such an amazing opportunity just working with the students.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a big change. And then Charlie, he was one of my supervisors there at that time, and he was like, he's still my supervisor now, but he was like, you know what, you're here at WSU Tech, why don't you continue your education? And I got my associates here, and my certificate in accounting and business administration was my associates. And then I went and did the OLL when it came out, and I got my degree last July. And so,
That is so great. So you got your business degree with us. You got your organizational leadership and learning bachelor's degree at Wichita State.
yes. From there, she would take over at the beginning, and then once Charlie came in, I've been helping Charlie a lot with the pack, and it's pretty cool. I love meeting the students and seeing them grow.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I like with the pack students.
Yeah, you're very involved in PAC. I mean, because you are
Yes.
the one that's organizing them and creating the agendas and working with the chairs and are the presidents and all that kind of thing. So I have great admiration and gratefulness for the work that you do with PAC because I get to see you every month for lunch
Yes.
along with the PAC students. And you have a real passion for working with students. I know that. Where does that come from?
I think just me, like, since I've always was involved, I just like helping people. But also as a mom, I see them as my kids. So I just love getting to know them, and I like to, whenever you have children, you kind of like to know what they're passionate for and kind of merge them so they can be successful. And that's how I see the students as well. I see what they're passionate for, and I see what like drives them, and so that's what I try to like get to know them. And when I see a little like spark, I'm like, you know what, we can grow this, so let's continue. And that's what the passion it comes in.
You mentioned PAC started in 2019. That's about the time that we started student engagement, right? We started student engagement activities. We started PAC in 2019 to get to make the college more of a campus for students that wanted to engage in student activities and to have a voice from the students to the president, right? So it started. I know that you were a little bit involved in that from the very beginning, but talk about how that's escalated over the last, several years. I mean, that's 7 years that we've been doing it,
Yeah.
right? And where it was at and where it is today. Talk about the growth of student engagement.
So when I started, we were coming out of COVID, and so there wasn't that much engagement from students. But then now I feel like we're coming out of that, like it's the after COVID, and I'm starting to see more students be involved, more students want to be together. When I started, there was no student organizations, and the challenge here at WSU Tech is that we get non-traditional students, and so we get them staying here for 6 weeks to 2 years. Some stay longer, but usually it's really hard just to keep a student organization, from continuing because they leave. But I was like, let's try it. Like, I had a passion for like when with my Hispanic community, so I was like, let's do Latinos United, and we started, and then we did video game club. I've never played video games, and I was like, let's do video game club, and I was pushing it. And
Have you gotten good?
I mean, a little bit.
Like you can hold your own.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know now. I know some of the video games, And then from there, we just started like getting more students and started, letting staff know and faculty like you can be an advisor if you're interested in something, And then we got like Allied with Pride now, and from there, those were the main three that we had for a couple, like 2 years. It was Allied with Pride, Latinos United, and Video Game Club. But then something changed this year. I don't know what it was, but I was pushing it a lot, maybe, the student organizations. And so we went from 3 student organizations to 11. And so.
No way. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
3 to 11?
Yes.
Wow, and they're all active. And
Most
they're
of
all
them,
moving forward.
Yeah.
But you've got some really strong students that are really committed to this experience as well.
You know what also helped PAC? We started advertising a spring before the fall, and so then students were here, and then we do interviews. We do intense interviews. Like Charlie does intense interviews, and these students are like ready. And so we're doing interviews right now, and so once we got a really good group, I think that was the biggest change I think that I saw. And because they are actually involved in the organization. So we have Ellie, she was in Women in Tech, and so she was involved in that. And then also another project that they did was the VIP, which is a volunteer initiative project, which students go and volunteer. And so it was just, and then they're so vocal that all the other students started, getting attached to them and attracted to just being involved. And then this year, we did the same thing. We opened up again the enrollment in spring for PAC, and we saw like an increased amount of applicants. And so that's what
great.
we're doing. And
well, we know research tells us that if a student is attached to something else at an institution besides their classroom experience, they have, a much higher rate of being retained and also succeeding. So that's why the work that you're doing is so important. So this may be like asking you to pick your favorite child, which nobody ever wants to do, right?
yeah.
But what is your favorite student engagement activity? This last year, what was your favorite one?
I guess there's one that I'm gonna say because I didn't do anything. And I saw the students step up. I saw the students be their own leaders. They wanted to do this event, and I was like, okay, well, you guys are gonna have to do it, and I guided them, which was a love and karaoke. And I was a little bit like, I don't know. I like to do things, so I wasn't trying to control. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let them do. Even though it sounds super simple event, but they went and did everything. They got a chocolate fountain, they decorated the room, and they did the advertising themselves and everything. And so I felt it was a proud little moment just seeing them how it actually was a really successful event that they created. And
so let's talk about that then. What do you see the benefits for students when they do student engagement or they become part of PAC? What do you see from the beginning to the end? What's the change in those students?
I see growth for sure. For example, I had a student engagement ambassador a couple years ago, and she was really quiet. She was in the corner, and it was really hard for me to get her to speak. And so then, I worked with her one-on-one, and we, she started changing. She started being more open, more, just engaged. And then she also decided to become, president of Latinos United at that moment. And then she spoke in one of her HSI. And then she had mentioned about that she didn't have a car. And so then someone in the community heard that she didn't have a car, so they gifted her a car. So
how incredible is that? Wow.
Yeah, and she just graduated from WSU, so she transferred from WSU Tech to WSU, and she graduated, and I saw her. It was so cool just seeing her transform. Because she was really shy, she didn't really talk to anybody, and she left here with a pretty good amount of friends and
And a lot of
continued.
confidence, it sounds like.
Yes,
So, what's the future of student engagement at WSU Tech?
I just want to continue seeing the growth, and seeing the students just continue leading. I guess another one really quick, like student leadership conference. That one is
I love
another one
this.
of my favorite ones too.
Love that event.
Yes, and just PAC actually took a lot and took in charge of the student leadership conference, and just seeing that just continue.
Many in our audience probably don't know what that is. Can you just
The student
briefly
leadership conference.
talk about what that event is?
Yeah, so the student leadership conference, we do it in March. It's usually the last week of March, and it is a Saturday. But we bring in speakers from the community. We usually have a theme for the year, and so then we stay around that theme. And we get about 30 to 50 students come, and we do workshops, and they listen to people in the community, and they engage, and it's super cool because actually I had one of the students who I saw out in the community, and they saw the speaker, and the speaker came up to me, and then they're like, "Oh, I heard you speak and at WSU Tech in the student leadership," and they got to know each other that way.
So, when we have our Super Bowl, our commencement, and you are there, and you are watching these students walk across the stage, and their families are celebrating them, and the joyfulness that's happening, because we know students have a lot of challenges. And you know these students, and you know a lot of the challenges and opportunities that they have along their journey. How does it make you feel to sit there and watch that?
It feels amazing, just seeing them cross the stage, and I really like it. Like, sometimes, I'm just there for my students just to see them, and it's a lot of them that I've seen cross, and so it's kind of cool. And also another thing that, the students decided they want to do cords for each student organization, so we made it happen, and I saw the students with their cords, different color cords, and I knew like what student organization they were from because, they had the little cords in it.
So what excites you the most about working at WSU Tech?
So I like that there's a lot of innovation opportunities that you guys allow to just pretty much listen to, if we have an issue, like I'll bring it up, and you guys are open about it. And so just, you guys are, like, WSU Tech loves to grow. So that's my favorite part, because it's could be different in a couple years. And, and that's what I like. I just like seeing change and seeing it grow.
So Zayra, I want to thank you for being on Tech Talk at WSU Tech today. And I want to thank you for all that you do for our students. I want to thank you for organizing and operating and ensuring that PAC is doing all the things that it can do. Much of your leadership is why they are experiencing leadership. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for all that you do in student engagement, because it's continued to grow. It's continued to provide a lot of opportunities for students. So just thank you for the role that you play in retaining our students and creating success for them.
No, and thank you for the opportunity as well, and just having the students, listening to them. And I also want to say thank you to all the faculty, all the staff that collaborate, like the collab, that we have helped, and and then also mentoring hub. So just getting everybody together has been amazing.
Thanks.